Hello, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk More Wrestling podcast. My name is Turbo Tony. We're here with Matt Marsander, and we apologise for the mixed episode this week. It just happened to be the fact that Matt came over and actually we were in the same country for once, which was quite weird, and we actually never got the time to do the
Yeah, I
podcast.
was going to say, what seemed like an ideal opportunity to get something out there, we just completely failed on it.
We did a little bit, yeah. And it's like every time you've come over before, we've been able to get like an episode out, and it just wasn't on the card. So we apologise for that. Business picks up as usual this weekend, but just to tie you over, we'll give you a pay-per-view review, which has got a sort of a unique twist. The fact that we actually watched it in the same house this time, which doesn't happen very often. Maybe once a year tops, maybe.
Definitely not a regular thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So Elimination Chamber was the pay-per-view of choice over this week, and it was the last pay-per-view leading up to the WrestleMania season. Well, we are in WrestleMania season, aren't we? The Chamber's just a mid sort of pay-per-view before that
sort
point.
of your halfway point. Yeah,
Yeah, there was a few good matches. Well, a few matches that were built up well on this show. Mainly the two main events: the Elimination Chamber match and the Wyatts versus the Shield. We'll talk about those matches as we go through. We're going to go through the same lineup as the show came up. Just as before we start, if you guys like the podcast, please leave us a like, and if you want to join us along for this ride, then subscribe to the channel and feel free to send us any messages. I must apologise. We did have someone who actually commented on one of our videos, and I never got back to him during that stuff. Send us an audio video, and I'll make sure it gets played on the podcast. So that's quite exciting. You guys have your voice on the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
Can be heard.
Yeah, so that'd be cool. So we'll get straight into it there, Matt. So the chamber.
Yep.
I just want to make a few references into this chamber. It was the first one in a very long time to feature just one chamber match because obviously now there's not two major titles as they were.
Yeah,
They used to have the two for each respective
each,
title.
each title. Yeah,
The WWE World Heavyweight and the obviously the sorry the WWE and the World Heavyweight. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. So it made a change just to have the one chamber match on this show, and for one, I'm actually quite happy about that in a sense. I do wish that the Wyatts and the Shield would have been inside the chamber as well, but that's well documented.
As well, I mean, we've discussed that before because we just the thought of sort of two factions just really going at it and just tearing the place apart.
Yeah, as it turned out, that didn't take anything away from that match. That match was brilliant on the show.
Not at all.
So in all fairness, one chamber match on the event. I'm not as bothered about it. I know that a lot of people aren't fans of having two Hell in a Cell matches or two chamber matches on these theme shows. But I know on this podcast we sort of are. But in this case, I wasn't that frustrated about it. So with that being said, the kickoff show or the pre-show, whatever you like to call it, was Ryback's. And obviously, alongside was Larry the Axe Hennig in Curtis Axel's corner, which was quite a nice touch, I think. I don't know if he's going to be sticking around for the tag team. God knows they need something because they're just on such a huge downward spiral. They have been the pair of them since, a couple of months, not more than a couple of months ago, really. And they went against Cody Rhodes and Goldust. We didn't see this match because it's quite hard to actually see the match when we're the way it's a lot harder to view this stuff when we're over in Ireland where we are.
I was going to say it was hard enough getting the event.
Yeah, it was a bit. So the anyway, so as far I obviously checked up on this match after the show. Didn't look like anything particularly special, but Cody Rhodes and Goldust get the victory there as expected because they're going against Ryback's and Ryback's lose all their matches. So.
Oh yeah.
And they did a short sort of kick back into this anyway, and I know they're going to be putting a lot more emphasis on the pre-show, especially now the WWE Network have launched. So maybe it's worth actually taking a more look at these pre-shows. They're probably going to put a lot more emphasis on having these pre-shows. And
I guess it's now getting to a point where it's like, well, there's no excuse to miss the pre-show with the network running around.
Yeah, that's how they're going to think about it now. Anyway, they're gonna almost treat the pre-show as almost like a taster to the actual event itself. So you can expect higher caliber matches to be on the pre-show, and they have had good caliber matches on pre-shows before, but the last couple of pay-per-view events maybe not so much. And this match is exactly one of them. It's just why these guys fighting each other makes little sense really.
Oh, yeah.
The kickoff to the actual curtain jerker for the Elimination Chamber event. Actually, just before we get onto that, the set for this was, as usual, quite poor. poor.
Bland.
We said that actually as it came up that
Oh, we did.
it looks like a modified Raw set. We actually did. We noticed halfway through the show that it has a little chamber section coming out of it, but it wasn't that sort of
I
in
think
your
I think I
face.
was just scaffolding holding the lighting together more than anything else.
Yeah, it wasn't that sort of out there, or we didn't catch it that quickly. So obviously, it wasn't that visually appealing that we didn't catch it until halfway through the show, and that's kind of testament to itself. These big sets are supposed to, really sort of set the theme for the show and be really unique. And you expect to, with the whole theme of the Elimination Chamber, they could come up with something. But alas, they want to save money with those sets, and that's the way it's been for a long time. I wouldn't expect it to change anytime soon either, really.
No, no.
So anyway, kickoff match was the Intercontinental Championship match between
hmm
Big E. I still haven't got around to just calling him Big E. I keep calling the guy Big E Langston, which
You want to drop the Langston, don't
yeah,
you?
they
Yeah.
basically beheaded Langston off of his name, which is okay with me, I guess. But yeah, Big E against Jack Swagger. And what was your thoughts about this match, Matt? In general?
I can't fault it. It was a sound enough opener.
Yeah. I said that there. This match could have been a lot worse. It could have been a real crowd killer, but in all fairness, it was as good as you could expect it to be. I don't think Big E's got a lot of experience in these. Well, I wouldn't like to call it a big match, but still in like opening shows and getting fans up on their seats and stuff like that. But he does as good as you'd expect him to with the amount of time that he's been in this role. So
Yeah,
I
definitely.
think Big E's got a big future ahead of him as long
Yeah.
as he continues to improve. It'll be very easy for him, like a lot of other wrestlers, almost like Jack Swagger, to get into the company and not improve over years and years and years of being in there. So
Mm,
we'll see how that goes there. But yeah, it was a surprisingly decent opener. Big E retains the championship.
he did.
The only note I made about here was during the event. I'm probably going to ruin him now for people coming in. I just find this guy's clotheslines to be really aggressive glomping. I don't know why. I just noticed that during this match that whenever he goes for his clothesline, it looks like he's trying to hug the guy really
It's
aggressively.
not necessarily so much as the clothesline. It's literally just a big black wall just gets in the way.
Yeah, it's a big cuddle, and just
Yeah,
very big guy coming at you full pace with a cuddle. So which could hurt, sure, but I don't know. I've just kind of ruined that for me now, especially if he does it to someone from the back. That's just gonna,
especially like a big proper. Oh,
yeah,
now you just made it weird.
exactly, yeah. It didn't take that long in the show. I think we were hitting record time for making stuff weird on the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
That's true.
Normally it gets to about like an hour, 40 minutes in, and where things start getting really bonkers. But maybe for the extras that we do, we just go there a little bit early. We let our hair down, so to speak, even when we don't have long hair anymore. So, well.
That's
uh, so the next match on the show, as the theme of the championships went on the earlier in the show, the tag team title match.
hmm
The New Age Outlaws went against the Usos. Now, the
Yeah,
only thing I say about this show is that, much like the Batista Del Rio match at the end of it, it just seems like the New Age Outlaws just weren't able to keep up to the pace of the younger guys that are in that ring. And I think the match suffered because of that. You could tell the Usos probably wanted to go a bit faster, but the Outlaws, they aren't spring chickens anymore, nor would you expect them to be either.
no, no,
But the Outlaws get the victory over the Usos in this. They go over, which was a bit of a shock for me. But the only way that really that they can make this right is if the Usos get their rematch maybe at WrestleMania, then beat them at Mania for the belts. Nothing else will suffice. If the
yeah,
Outlaws go to Mania and beat the Usos at Mania, then what was the point in this program? You've got like one of your rising tag teams basically get beaten by guys that aren't really
yeah.
thrilling people anymore.
Especially considering they want to work so hard on getting the tag team division, and then suddenly they just get dicked over by an older generation.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. The I mean, we've been big fans. I mean, a lot of fans are like this, aren't they? They want to see new rising stars. You look at Roman Reigns, Bray Wyatt, Daniel Bryan. These are guys that weren't around weren't around 10 years ago, whereas the New Age
Yeah,
Outlaws were, and then some. So um, I don't mind old factions coming back. I don't even mind the Outlaws winning the belts. I really don't, as long as they're transitional champions. If they go any longer with the belts and they even use the Usos to raise their own credibility, which I'm sure WWE won't do, but that would be really damaging. I don't think there's any point in
yeah.
that. So um, Yeah, I don't. The problem is with this, I don't expect them to have a particularly great match at Mania. If that is the plan, which by what I've seen on Raw seems to be. This is not the end of their rivalry. And you know what? If the Usos go over Outlaws at WrestleMania, win the belts, then hats off to WWE. They've done it right. That's a program done right.
Yeah,
And the Usos are over as much as they are going to be, I believe. So they do get a good
which they
crowd
should
response.
be.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I used to label at the Usos and used to, you wouldn't agree with me for is that I struggled to see where they were going to really connect with the fan base, but
Yeah.
they've done that pretty well. So they've proved me wrong in that sense. A lot of stuff that they've changed, the chants and everything, and the fact these
Hmm.
guys are quite exciting in the ring. That's the key to anyone trying to get big in WWE nowadays. You need to be really exciting in the ring. You look at Cesaro. He's one guy that's really exciting in the ring, really exciting to watch. So the fans just want to see this guy wrestle. That's how you get over nowadays. You do
Yeah.
good wrestling. So, is there anything you want to add about that match, New Age Outlaws and Usos?
No, I think you've covered everything really.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a bit of a just a cookie cutter match, really.
it was.
I can't really.
The Usos have done better. Unfortunately, New Age Outlaws since they come back haven't. That's the only
Yeah,
thing. And that's my only worry for WrestleMania. How far can Billy Gunn and Road Dogg really go in terms of match quality? Unless it's going to be like a squash match at Mania, which by the looks of how they're stacking the card at Mania may be that case. But we'll see how it goes there anyway. So next match was the end of the tag team, the prime time players. I know you and me were sad to see the millions of dollars chant die here and here.
yeah.
Maybe it'll live on. I don't know. Maybe Darren Young could do it on his own. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But
We'll see.
Titus O'Heal, as I will call him from now on during his heel run because it just works. Um, yeah, against Darren Young here. This was a bit of a dead match. I don't really think many of the fans really got into this. I don't think Titus O'Heal has made himself that convincing yet as a heel. Whenever he does his sort of stare into the camera, he just kind of looks like he doesn't know what to do rather than looking menacing. So I hope he changes that bit about his character anyway. But um,
Can only hope.
yeah, I mean, you and me weren't that invested in this match because we knew where this was going. I mean, a lot of this show, you knew the results of it, wasn't it? And I think this was one of them. There was no way that Titus O'Neil was going to lose to Darren Young, not when he's the one doing the heel turn.
No, that's it.
But I thought he run over Darren Young quite convincingly, considering that they kind of build him towards this sort of end of their mini rivalry as like equals or whatever.
Yeah,
But it makes me wonder where both men go from here. You got to think WrestleMania season. Where do these two fit in the card? Well, I doubt they're going to get on the card
nowhere.
anyway. But where do their characters go from here? That's the problem with WrestleMania season. A lot of these guys will often get eaten up by everything else that's going along, and in a way, it's kind of rightly so. You would not book Titus O'Neil over Brock Lesnar. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Titus O'Neil, as much as I think Titus O'Neil could be something big. Um, he's not going to sell you seats now. So that's the problem with Titus O'Neil. You need to build him up, and this may be the beginning of that. We will see. Then, Matt, came the main event in our eyes, anyway. I think a lot of
oh,
wrestling fans.
definitely.
The Wyatt family versus the Shield. I've put here, and I'll let you kind of reply off this. It's very rare for a match to live up to the hype that we as fans give it, but also the hype that WWE do. But this match
Delivered
delivered on that hype as high as it was.
easily.
Um,
The fact that we were getting a "This is awesome" chant before anything even happened.
exactly, yeah,
I don't even think like the Whites weren't even in the ring, and we were already getting chants.
yeah, yeah. This
And it's
was,
like you know that you've built a good program when that's your case.
they've done really well with this promo. Even the whole sort of build up towards this match has been superb. The fact you haven't really had these guys even touch each other. Yeah, they had a slight scuffle on Raw for maybe a couple of minutes,
Oh
but
yeah, they had a scrap. I was
yeah,
like,
and the way that they've kind of treated these guys as equal, just two giants just clashing against each other, you have to give props to their commentary team for even doubling that up and everything that they do. When you look at WWE and these two factions, they've really done well with both of these factions, the way that they've put
oh
these
yeah,
guys. So you've got to give them props for that. I mean, I hear at LTW we do our fair share of bashing against creative and wondering why they make this decision. But one of the things you also get on this podcast is that we'll look on the other side and we'll give credit where credit's due. They've done well with these two factions,
Oh, definitely.
and for everyone involved, there could be they could have main event wrestlers main eventing WrestleMania in the future involved in this match. And if they do pull off matches of this quality, then fair enough. That's all we can say. That's fantastic. If this is a teaser to what we're going to get in the next 5 years, then you can sign me up. I'm up for that.
Yeah,
That's the
I'm
stuff I
along for
want
the
to see.
ride.
Yeah, exactly. So great action here. Really stiff wrestling at times, which you'd expect from Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt. I always get his name wrong. I always call him Way Bryant sometimes. I don't know why. Maybe it's I don't
Just
know.
got a little bit crazy there.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe his promos are starting to get to me, and I'm following the buzzards. But one guy I think who came out of this looking like $1 million, apart from Roman Reigns, who always comes out looking like $1 million, is actually Seth Rollins. I think he came out of this match looking really strong.
Yeah, he did. It's
Um,
sort of like the sort of offensive that he was getting
hmm,
was just bizarre,
yeah.
but
Uh,
really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't. I was saying to you there when we were watching this match that a lot of the times with the Shield, you're looking at it, you're looking at what is Roman Reigns doing, what is Dean Ambrose doing. A lot of this match, you're wondering what is Seth Rollins going to do next. He's got all this unique offense, and he was busting out all of it that he could. At this match, and fair play to the guy. If they're going to break up soon, then he's going to start making a marker, and this makes me excited to see what he can do in the ring when the Shield break up. So fair play to the guy. Ambrose, however, went missing, just MIA.
Yeah, just gone.
Yeah, he went out fighting with Bray Wyatt, and only Bray Wyatt returned. So I like the
So I'm
fact.
really curious about what actually happened.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh.
Well, I know on Raw, I don't want to spoil it so much, but
I'm sorry, yeah, good, because I haven't watched Raw yet.
he references the fact that what happened, that he just disappeared, but they don't actually say any reason why he actually did it, so we don't know still why he went missing.
Okay.
So
He's been
uh,
indoctrinated.
indoctrinated, yeah. But yeah, Ambrose went missing, and obviously that basically Wyatt's then picked off man by man. They just decimated Seth Rollins through a table.
Mm.
With what looked like a double choke slam looking thing, and then
Yeah.
Reigns had a final flourish, but then obviously it became too much. And
He had a good fight to sort of fight off, to be fair.
yeah, if in all fairness, if you're going to lose, you want to lose that way, sort of coming off looking as if
Yeah.
you could have won the match, sort of thing. So, very well built match, very exciting, some really good action here. And when push came to shove, these guys delivered, and they had. You think these guys could have done a really crap match, and it really would have deflated the crowd. But no, these fans were absolutely given everything that they wanted to with this match, and
Yeah.
it kind of left fans wondering why the likes
That
of
couldn't have been main event.
what well, not even maybe we can get a rematch at Mania, because I'd love to see these guys go against each other again at
Yeah.
WrestleMania, no matter what plans that they've got. Maybe you hold off whatever plans you got with the Wyatts. You could give John Cena someone else to fight, and then you can hold up breaking up the Shield for WrestleMania, and you have these guys just go at it again and just go no holds barred. Just let themselves kill each other out there. Why not? Because that's what the fans want. I mean,
That's it.
if this is going to be like the last time that we get to see these factions really duke it out, then fine. That's
So be
fantastic.
it.
So be it. So after that, which would be very hard for anyone to follow, at least WWE decided to give us a breather and give us a break with the AJ Lee versus Cameron match. Because we
Yeah.
weren't going to cheer for
That
that match.
was a wonderful match.
Yeah.
I don't actually, to be perfectly honest, I can't say anything. I didn't actually watch that match. I seized the opportunity and did exactly what WWE expect you to do during matches like that. Oh, I'm going to the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go have a cigarette.
Yeah. I think the only reason I didn't is because I don't smoke and I didn't need the toilet at that time. So I did actually watch this match. It was a poor match. It wasn't good. As you would expect from someone of the wrestling caliber as Cameron, because she's not a good wrestler. And I'm so glad that she did not win this match, because the idea of having someone listen, like I think Austin said it best on his podcast, that she's got a lot of personality. She can dance well or whatever. She's a good personality. She ain't a wrestler. but
Okay,
she's there's a
no.
place for her in the wrestling business, but it ain't being a wrestler. So having her as the head of your Divas division is something that I think
Mm,
would be sort of like the final sort of exclamation point of what a lot of people think about the Divas division. Um, and it's just the idea that you've got the likes of Paige, Emma coming up to the main roster, and who are they going to go against? Cameron, and it's
yeah,
thank God she didn't
real
win this.
good.
So AJ Lee's epic Divas Championship run continues, but it's sort of along the lines of, yeah, you're champion, but who you're beating to stay champion? She doesn't really have much, really, in terms of actual in-ring quality
Worthy
opposition.
competitors.
Yeah, so. But that's how it is. We kind of used to this sort of stuff by now. You can expect AJ Lee to probably lose either to Naomi, who they've been building up, or she's been injured, or someone else they pick. They're definitely going to have her drop the belt at Mania, so you can expect that anyway. Batista against Del Rio. Uh,
Snore.
I think WWE did a really bad job of booking this match after Wyatt's versus Shield. I really think
Yeah,
that if they did this beforehand, then um,
it probably
it
wouldn't get
wouldn't.
such a bad reaction.
I think Batista would have got a bad reaction regardless, but I think that the quality of the match wouldn't have been so badly highlighted if you hadn't had that masterpiece done beforehand. So maybe the fact is that WWC Batista is a main event guy, and rightfully so. Whatever you think of him, he's a main event guy. But they should have known from Batista's track record since he come back that he wouldn't be able to live up to Del Rio's pace in the
Pace.
ring.
No, not at all.
And he tanked quickly, didn't he, Batista
Mm,
again
that he did.
in this match? And but regardless, anyway, it wasn't a good match because of that. It was very slowly paced. And the only thing before this match, obviously, Del Rio was faking an injury, came down with crutches, and decided to attack Batista, which is roughly what I said actually before. And that if Batista can't go up to Del Rio's rate of wrestling, then that's the one way you do it. You have Del Rio weighing on him and make it so he's getting beaten up for the entire match, and
Yeah,
Batista doesn't have to do much. Because sometimes, not all the time, we know this from matches. Sometimes actually taking hits and just getting punched in the face during matches, or the odd slam here and there, is actually less exhausting on the body than actually lifting guys up for suplexes and
that's it.
doing all those sort of moves. So maybe this will be better on his body. This guy needs to get good quick, otherwise his matchup at WrestleMania is going to get dipped. It really is. But we'll go into that a little bit more later on for the Elimination Chamber match. So Batista got the win here anyway with the Batista bomb. But I mean, I know, Matt, you said when Batista first came out that you were expecting him to come out of the blocks really quickly. What you think about this guy's quality of matches so far, and are you
I was wrong.
a little bit ashamed
I was
really of that?
wrong.
Yeah.
It makes me like I was really excited for the return of Batista. I think it's safe to say you were as well, but now it's just like, oh,
I mean, I'm still excited for what Batista can do, and I've been very critical of fans that boo him for the
dicking
sake
on
that
him.
he's a part-time player. Yeah, if you want to boo him because he's in the main event of WrestleMania, all fair play to you. But if you boo him because he's a part-time wrestler, he's been on Raw every single week since he's come back to the
Yeah,
company, so that's not really relevant. Um, he's not part-time. He just took a break. Now he's full-time again, so he's not part-time. So it's not exactly correct. And you got to look at the times of like the likes of when Goldberg he came to WWE. That guy didn't wrestle a match for 4 weeks when he first debuted,
mm,
and then he faced The Rock at Backlash. But he didn't wrestle any matches up to that. But he was on Raw every week promoting that match.
yeah,
So take one as you do it. You can't have two different sort of two different ways of looking at it. You need to have one or the other, or you'll live by that.
yeah. Sort of take it or leave it.
But like I said, if you're booing him because you think that Daniel Bryan should be in his place, and I can't really argue with that, so that's fair enough. But,
Yeah,
so the Elimination Chamber match, the so-called main event. I don't like to dog on this match too much because I think as Chamber matches go, this was actually pretty decent. It had a lot of just mad spots. People going through pods and
there was
Sheamus
a lot
kicking
of
a pod
broken
over.
pods.
Christian jumping off the top of the cage,
Hmm.
off the top of one of the pods onto Sheamus. So in terms of crazy spots, I mean, Elimination Chamber match is never going to be one for great wrestling. Elimination Chamber match this year definitely sort of gave us our fair share of of moments.
Hmm.
Everything
I mean,
about this.
I kind of have a problem with the Elimination Chambers now.
Go on.
The lack of originality in spots.
Yeah, there's only so much you can really do in there, isn't there? Like,
Yeah. It's
uh,
like, oh, he's hiding in the pod and someone broke the pod to get at him. Done.
yeah.
Oh, he's jumped off the top of the pod. Done.
Yeah. Even people coming into the match during the match has been kind of overdone with the
Yeah,
Elimination Chamber.
that's it.
I don't know why they've been so shocked when the Wyatts got in. One, because there was an open door, and two, Shawn Michaels got up through the bloody Elimination Chamber grating once and super
He
kicked
came out the
Undertaker.
floor, didn't he? Yeah.
So it's not as if it's been unprecedented, or anything like that. But yeah, with this, I thought the match itself was decent enough. It wasn't as good as Wyatt's versus Shield, but it was good. So people, um, it was of a decent caliber, and I would say it's worth watching.
Yeah.
The only thing I say about this match is that everything was so well done in this match until the very end, where Corporate Kane came up and Daniel Bryan decided to attack him. They did
Hmm.
kind of a swerve where Bryan got RKO'd and he kicked out. They made the fans think that this was the moment that Bryan was going to win the belt. He was going to kick out. He was going to overcome all the odds. Nope, he gets attacked by Kane again. Another RKO, and Randy Orton walks out champion.
That's
And
it.
they closed the show quite uniquely actually. They closed the show with obviously Orton celebrating, but with Michael Cole going on a bit of a rant about how Daniel Bryan's been screwed time and time again. And they go and they do a close up to all the fans who look basically depleted. They look but upset.
Yeah. It was just like, ah, your depression. Let's put it on TV.
Yeah, it's almost like you could see the air coming out of the balloon, sort of thing, as they went to
Yeah,
all these different fans,
definitely.
which is a bit of a weird way for them to end their show, basically saying, "Oh, these guys did not get what they wanted," and close the show on that.
Mm,
Now, I don't have a problem with them doing this personally, if they have Bryan go on at WrestleMania and win the belt for some reason, but it doesn't look like that's the thing he's going to do. I think they're going to have a Triple H Bryan match, and I don't know if beating up Triple H is going to give the fans what they want. They want to see Daniel Bryan winning the belt at the main event of WrestleMania. That's what they've
that's
wanted
it.
since SummerSlam.
All
Um,
along.
Now, personally, I don't mind seeing a Bryan Triple H match, but I think that the one way you fix the WrestleMania card is you put Bryan in that match with Batista and Randy Orton. Hell, if
Easily.
yeah, I mean, look, the fans are just gonna shit all over the Randy Orton Batista match the way that it's going at the moment. Um,
Yeah,
so you put Bryan in there, you know you're going to get a big crowd response for that. You make Bryan go over, because God help you if you make Batista or Randy Orton beat him at WrestleMania, there would be a riot. So you make Bryan go over, and you're really desperate. Maybe the only reason Batista came back because he was going to be made champion. You make Bryan go against Batista in a couple of pay-per-views and get Batista to beat him then.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Just like hold fire on it.
Yeah, like I just don't. Personally, I just don't think that Bryan beating Triple H. It's not exactly going to be a squash match with Bryan Triple H. You know Triple H won't do that. It's not going to give the fans what they wanted anyway. But that seems to be the way that they're going. So the match in general was pretty decent. These guys did do a lot of crazy spots, and it was quite entertaining. But just so strange for a WWE pay per view to end where they're just showing all these fans just so
Deflated. Yeah.
deflated and just almost like what was the point, and like I thought it was quite ironic you got Michael Cole going ballistic on commentary when I remember Daniel Bryan debuting, and there was no worse person to Daniel Bryan than Michael Cole. He was
Oh
just
God, yeah.
so if you remember back then, it's quite a change of fortune really.
If anyone wanted to dick over Brian, that would have been Cole.
Yeah, exactly. So quite strange to see him rise to his defence in such a furious and passionate manner. So that was a bit odd, but all in all, when you look at the chamber as a whole, I think that this match was definitely watchable. You've got the Wyatts versus Shield, which is a brilliant match. You've got the chamber match itself, which I think is worth watching. The rest of the match, you got the Big E versus Jack Swagger match, which was
Hmm.
entertaining enough. I think the rest of the matches fall by the wayside. But the way that we have WWE pay per views nowadays, you've got three matches worth watching. I think that's kind of a win. I don't know if that's
Yeah,
sad or, the way that we've
no,
gotten
it's
used
not
to
far from the
things.
truth, to be fair.
But the way that it's been recently, we were lucky to get three decent matches on a pay per view. I'd take that over some of the ones that we've had before, so we'll go with that. And obviously, you can't look at other matches this year and place it above that Wyatt versus Shield match.
Oh, definitely not.
That was as good as you're gonna get, um, unless these guys
And it was
top
exactly
themselves.
and it was exactly what everyone wanted as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
as I said at the start, it was just like the fact that you got a "This is awesome" chant before anyone had, like, the Wyatts weren't even in the ring yet, and
yeah,
it's just like, and the chant began.
yeah, it was very expertly done, and all you can say is that kudos to them for doing that. Like I said, with that particular angle, they did that to perfection, and you
Hmm.
have to give them props. Now, when you look at other parts on the show, the fact that the whole Daniel Bryan thing, they really kind of trolled the fans. They really made us believe that Daniel Bryan was going to kick out of the RKO, he was going to rally up, and then he was going to take the belt, and it was pretty much like Triple H's troll face again after the Royal Rumble, if you
Yeah,
remember that. So, but we'll
and
see.
then no,
Yeah.
oh shit.
But we'll see how it goes there on out anyway. After WrestleMania, what was with this show as a whole? Would you say it would be purchasable?
Um, I'd say it was worth the spend.
You and me were still quite happy at the end of it after that White Shield match, weren't we?
That's it. We
So
were still buzzing the next day, so it's
yeah,
says something for it.
exactly. So there you go, guys. That's our review for Elimination Chamber. I'd like to hear your thoughts on them on all the matches on the show, or if you've got any questions about what we thought about certain segments, we'd be more than happy to answer that. And like I said, apologies for missing our episode this week. Things were just so crazy. We just didn't have the time to actually get a 2 hour podcast. And by the time that we did, it was already Sunday night, and I would never have got it out to you but in time. So
That's it.
um,
Before we knew it, it was just like, oh, it's an hour till the event.
yeah,
Oh, well, let's not bother then.
exactly, yeah. Considering it takes me about 4 hours to get a show up, and that's after recording.
Mm,
Yeah, I would not have got that up beforehand. So, yeah, if you wanted to see our predictions after the shows happened, then that would have seemed very dodgy for you guys. So we decided not to go with that anyway. We'll be back to business as usual this weekend. Like I said, if you've just joined us here, check out some of our usual podcasts and subscribe to the channel. You'll join this long road with us. We do our usual podcast every weekend, either on a Saturday or a Sunday, and it's normally about 2 hours. We do our podcast. We review Raw every segment, and we do the wrestling news of the week. And we
that's it.
alternate. Sometimes we'll do a superstar spotlight. Sometimes we'll do a topic. Sometimes we may do a question if it's good enough to warrant like a 20-minute conversation. We'll do that as well
That's it.
on the podcast. So a lot to be looked forward to this weekend, and especially with the network launching. And the return of the Hulkster on Raw as well.
That's it.
We've got a lot to talk about this weekend, so you can expect a bumper edition of the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. But if you like this review, leave us a like, and if you disliked it, then leave us a comment. Tell us exactly what you think of the pay per view. We'd love to debate with yourselves and talk about certain wrestling topics. But yeah, apart from that, thanks a lot for listening to us here today. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you at the weekend.
That's it.
All right, bye bye.
Have a good one.